Hi, friends. We are back from TIFF, and I think is day 6. I'm joined in the virtual room by multidisciplinary artist Dana Solomon. Dana, nice to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I usually start by asking folks to do a bit of an introduction, tell folks what it is that you do. You wear different hats in the arts world. So what would you want people to know about you?
Yeah. Um, well, I'm Dana Solomon. I'm a member of Sagkeeng First Nation in Manitoba, but I grew up in Selkirk and I now reside here in Ontario. I found my love for performing through dance.
Mm.
Dance was my way of storytelling, and then I made my way to Ontario, got into acting, and now filmmaking. Yeah, like you said, wearing many hats.
So when did you decide, what was first maybe? Was dance first, movement, performance, then acting?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I found my way to acting through dance, and I started in dance. Used to take classes at the Royal Olympic Ballet School. And then when I came to Ontario, I still pursued dance. And then I tried an intro to acting course and fell in love with it. And I'm like, this could be a real opportunity for me. And I didn't know that that could have been an opportunity for me from where I was from. It's a small town.
Yeah.
You don't really hear of people pursuing acting. So, yeah, it wasn't until I came over this way that I realized that I could be an actor. And then I haven't looked back since, really.
Well, congrats. Yes, your bio is got some good stuff going on. I know you've done some work, and with an E is one that will resonate with some folks here in this place called Canada. A lot of us grew
Yes.
up with that series. So that's really interesting because now you're kind of merging the two things. I want to congratulate you. You have a short film at TIFF
Thank you.
this year, and you're also part of a feature film. But I want to focus on the short film NIIMI, is that correct?
Yeah, it's called NIIME, but yeah,
Okay. I want
yeah,
to make sure we pronounce it as it should be pronounced. So it's from the Ojibwe phrase of loop, I guess she
dance.
dances
Yeah, or
and
dance.
or
Yeah.
dance. Okay. So tell me about the combination of writing and kind of creating this short film because you also embody one of the characters in this short.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I wrote NIIME with the idea of movement as medicine. Um, I grew up dancing and loving dance, and dance was always incredibly healing in my life. So I wanted to share a story about how somebody can navigate trauma through movement.
Mhm. And so what came first for you? The idea for the characters that might be in the short, or was it more about I want to explore this first through movement and then go to the page?
For me, it was the theme that came first.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do, the theme was movement is medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took it to paper. That's when I started to write it. And the characters sort of developed from there. And I knew what styles of dance that I wanted to explore. And I think that's how it came to be. I knew I wanted to do the contrast between ballet and something totally not as structured, not something that doesn't have. I'm not saying ballet. Um, well, ballet is structured,
Yes.
but also heels dancing. There's less, I guess, rules and there's a little bit more freedom to explore
Mm-hmm.
in my experience, anyway.
Right.
And so I wanted to show that contrast within the film, and then that's how like the story kind of developed. And I wrote it, different drafts, got my producing partner Houston Bone um, to look over it, and then we created this film together. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's a lot of layers, which I think I'm curious to, I don't know if you've made it to the public screening for the shorts program.
No,
And
not yet.
okay, so we'll wait on that because I'm always curious once we see it on the bigger screen, and the audience feedback. I think that's always really special. So maybe let's talk about your cast. You have some really great younger women who also dance, and I like the character that you play Sky, and then you meet another dancer who kind of allows you to kind of explore
Mhm.
a different way to move. And
Well, I play Jeannie
oh,
and
sorry.
he plays
Yeah.
Sky. Yeah.
So, what was your conversation with the cast in terms of what you wanted to explore, and did they also inform the way that you capture things on film?
Yeah, well, it was really beautiful because Callie Kennedy's from Six Nations. She's a beautiful Mohawk dance artist, and she's been wanting to get into acting, and
Hmm.
she's done some acting, and we worked together in a dance project previously, and so I had her in mind with Sky.
Oh, no.
And so I reached out to her and, she loved the script. And then there was further conversations. The ballet coach, Nick, played by a friend of mine, he is nothing like his character. I'm just putting it out there. He's the kindest, most talented
Mhm.
actor. And then we just had conversations. And then because of the subject matter, we had conversations about comfortability and we had an intimacy rider just in case, just making sure everyone feels safe. We had check ins. So it was a really organic experience and really collaborative experience. And I will say, I want to add that I also applied for the Samuel North Connect Leadership Fund through taking it global, and
Yeah.
they provide micro grants. So this was like a super low budget, film.
Yes.
Um, we're working with certain parameters, which was challenging. And so with that grant, we wanted to make it like a learning experience for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was really free flowing. It wasn't like a strict set. Like we were able to collaborate. People had ideas. It was just a whole learning experience. And I was learning a lot from Houston Bone, who kind of was like a director's mentor to me on
Mhm.
set and also a producer and partner. And then we had Dimitri Lopatin, who was like a very talented cinematographer. And, with each frame, he's guiding and teaching me as well. And we're learning from each other. So it was a really great experience.
I'm glad you're sharing that because I was gonna ask you about being in these roles for for the short, right? Because you're also kind of learning as you go. It's your first short as well. And what are some of the key, I guess, lessons that you're now taking from making this film into maybe continuing to write or direct or produce?
Yeah, I definitely plan to continue to create stories. Like my love is performing.
Hmm.
But I just know that there's such a need for Indigenous people to be telling our stories and really pushing that. And I love writing. I love the creative side. But I did learn that as much as I have a production company,
Hmm.
and that's to maintain control over my stories, I don't love producing. I don't love contracts. I'm sorry. It's
That's
so
fair.
hard. The contracts, the paperwork, I find it overwhelming. Um, but that being said, this was a low budget project, so we didn't have the means to have a lot of other hands on the project. So in the future with maybe additional funding that I won't have to wear every single hat. I could write and direct and maybe act, but maybe get some other areas there will be more support for
For
sure.
sure. And I think the one thing at least is that you've gone through the experience and now you know the forte is something else and you can
Yeah.
rely on friends for producing.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a really amazing co-producer,
Hmm.
um, but it's still a lot of work,
Hmm.
and it's just two people, and then plus with me, I also choreographed every sequence that you see in the
Okay,
film.
I was gonna ask you that next.
Yeah, I also choreographed every sequence. So not only, like I acted it, I choreographed it, like it was just a lot of hats to wear. So in the future, I definitely know, yeah, maybe more delegation and hopefully more funding allows for
Yeah.
that.
I mean, and that's the thing, right? I find because I've been able to meet different folks at different stages of their careers. That's what happens, right? Your first project is a labor of love,
Yeah.
sweat, literal sweat.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but it also kind of enriches that experience for you in terms of deciding what it is that you want to focus on next, which is lovely. Um, so you did the choreography in general because it is a short film and it was a smaller production. Was it a really quick turnaround time in terms of sort of getting together and filming and any kind of special moments that you can share from shooting?
Yeah, I mean, it really was a quick turnaround. I think that's just the nature because it was a short film. We
Hmm.
shot it in January over 2 weekends. The Citadel Dance Studio, where I teach youth to dance,
Hmm.
they were gracious enough to give us a studio for a very discounted rate, which was amazing. um, and then after that, Houston Bone was also the editor, and he was able to provide a rough cut, fairly soon after. I think we were all really excited about it, so we really went to work. Yeah.
That makes sense. So, well, congratulations. I'll follow you online and see how it goes for the public screenings of this film.
Thank you.
Um, so now I also want to mention that you are in your first feature role at TIFF as well with
That's right.
Gail Maurice's Bloodlines, and that's also another huge congratulations. I think this year has a lot of excellent Indigenous films, and Bloodlines is one of them.
Yeah.
How early in the project did you know that you were going to be playing one of the lead role in this film?
Yeah, well, the audition process started early May. I remember that specifically.
Mhm.
And then I found out about the role like mid-July, and then we got shooting in August. Yeah, maybe it was the second week of August, I want to say.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure on dates now. It's been a year.
I know.
But I did know a good 6 weeks, I would say, beforehand, that I got the lead role. We did have several auditions, a chemistry read, and then I found out about 2 weeks later.
Okay, excellent. So for folks, we're not going to discuss the plot because we want people to see the film.
That's
It's having
it.
its world premiere at TIFF, so I wish them, I know it's going well from what I'm seeing online too. So, but once you realized that you were going to be, you're playing Beatrice, right, in this film, how do you tackle a role that will be, I guess, a mix of a lot of emotions? We don't have to go into the specifics of the story, but just more like what is your preparation for a role of this level?
Well, I will say that prepping for Beatrice was a big undertaking because not only am I, portraying this character and there's a lot of layers that's going on, she also speaks Michif.
Hmm.
And I'm not a Michif speaker, I'm an Anishinaabe, and Gail trusted me with her language, which is just such an honor.
Yes.
So there's a lot of studying and preparation that had to go and to speak a language that's not yours. You have to handle it, with so much care. And lucky for me, she's a fluent language speaker. She's a Michif speaker. And then there's a group of women in the film called the Granny Gang. We call them that lovingly. Yeah, we call them that lovingly. And they're also fluent speakers. So they were a great guide, great teachers. Um, and yeah, and one thing I will note too is that this character of Beatrice resonates with me and a lot of First Nations people because some of the experiences they may not have happened to me personally, but maybe I may know somebody who that could happen to, an auntie, a friend. These are collect a lot of shared experiences within the community. So there was a lot to draw from.
Hmm. I would say that's the thing. And I mean, I was privy to seeing a preview and I watched it with a friend. I'm from Guatemala. She's from the Caribbean, but we still related to a lot of the story because of the
Mhm.
family dynamic or even
Yeah.
like you said, people that we know in our lives, right? So I think it's as much as it's I love that it's an Indigenous and Métis story, but also has that universality about it that we'll connect with. So in terms of for this feature film, I wanted to ask you about working in such a supportive environment. At least that's how it seemed to me. The way of seeing the film, it just seems like it was made with a lot of love, and sort of what you took away from that process.
Yeah, honestly, what I'll say to that is that I honestly felt very lucky to be working in that environment. It's my first lead role in a feature film, and it's on an Indigenous set. And me being an Indigenous person, it was very special. Set became like a secondary family. And in Indigenous communities, there's so much humor and laughter. So we honestly really had a good time. There's heavy moments, but there was so much laughter. So I feel very grateful and very lucky.
Uh-huh. So we'll stay tuned for updates on when the film will be released, so people can. I mean, there's probably a couple chances, or maybe one more chance at TIFF, but it should be
Yeah,
coming.
tomorrow 11:30 Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Today's still Tuesday.
Yeah, premiere was yesterday, which was a
Yeah.
surreal,
Yes, I was
wonderful
gonna ask
experience.
you, what's it like to be part of something that special?
It was so surreal. It was very emotional. And one thing I was grateful is that I didn't know what it would be like seeing the film and then seeing myself up there, but I was able just to look at the film as a whole and
Hmm.
just experience it. And I'm really grateful for that. I was really nervous, but yeah, I was just really excited. It was so surreal, a lot of emotions, and everybody was, so happy. It was such a special moment.
Hmm. And I did see some footage of some of the red carpet, so it looks like it was a really great time.
Yeah.
Um, so that's Bloodlines. Is there any other project that you want to highlight that we should talk about before we wrap up that you can discuss?
Well, to be honest, NIIMI, I hope to plan to take that short film into a feature.
Mm.
Especially it's something that dance is familiar to me. I think it would be a great starting point and a great first feature. I have other projects in the works, writing wise.
Yes.
And as an actor, I'm auditioning, hoping something lands my way. Yeah, so
Well, I
yeah.
mean, I think you're gonna get a lot of notice from the role in the feature, so sending you
I
all the good vibes.
thank you.
Dana, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's a busy, busy week for you, so I appreciate your time and nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Take care.